Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and my morning walk with the animals. I don't see any stray dogs today, at least not yet. So today I'm going to update you on the 2 trials, and it is National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day. Whoa, we'll be in the streets, there'll probably be a parade. Yep, stay tuned. Good morning, everybody. Crafting Journey here, that journey chick on Instagram, and the leftovers on my other channel where I do reselling. So check that out. Link is down in the description. I'm going to make sure everything's connected today, that we have sound, that you can hear me. So sorry about yesterday. So what I have done, and I certainly don't have to explain this to you, but you guys are my friends. So I switched back to filming on the computer versus the iPad because using Power Director over iMovie gives me a lot more options. I just have to refresh my memory on Power Director and all the different things that I can do with it. So yesterday I thought I had raised the volume, but here's the problem. I found out later on the microphone had been disconnected. So totally my fault. So lesson learned, make sure everything's connected before you do a show. So thanks for watching. I did not see the German Shepherd today. No, and it is very overcast today. I was going to do some yard sales today since it's a Friday, but I really feel the need to just catch up. I feel like I've been going 100 miles an hour and spinning my wheels, so to speak. Yeah. I'm not giving up. I just need to refresh. So tonight starts the Craftathon at 8 o'clock Central Time. No, 8 o'clock Eastern. Is it 8 Eastern? Yes. It kicks off with my good friend Tia's Crazy Craft Addictions. There is a link down in the description to the playlist. Just copy that link or click on that link and save it. And once you go into one of those lives, it will just take you to the next and the next and the next, and you can just, but there are some overnight spots. It's supposed to be continuous for 48 hours, but we have a lot of overnight spots where I couldn't get those filled. So they're, late night spots where we'll be able to get some sleep and refresh ourselves for the next lives. But at least I'm going to say, I haven't counted, but I'm going to say about 35 different creators. Guys, we've got colorists, diamond painters. I will be doing watercolor painting, crocheters, knitters, planners. Somebody's going to try to do a tumbler. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. 3D printing. Yeah, I'm excited. I might learn a new craft. Yeah, that's what I need, right? Yeah. Like a whole, oh, did I say cross stitch? There'll be cross stitch. So I'm almost done. Like, I just got to fill in this little spot here. The tree, is there a song about a tree? I don't know. Anyway, it's Friday. Now that I'm fun employed, sometimes I just don't even know what day of the week it is. Friday dance. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Friday dance. Okay. I didn't even get out of my chair for that. I'm sorry. I'm doing this symbol that just seems to be taking forever. All right. I don't need that. Let's just leave that where it is. There's none of that symbol on there. I finished all of it there. So we just need to fill in some spots here. So I have 4 trials to tell you about. Oh my gosh. The first one is the case of Rebecca Rudd. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the case about Rebecca Rudd. She was accused of murdering her teenage daughter. She had given this girl up for adoption right after she was born to someone that she had grown up with. They were very good friends. She later on gave another child up to this same person. But this teenager, she was quite a handful with the adoptive mother at this point in her life, 15 years old. She was, threatening to kill herself, cutting, acting out. So the adoptive mother thought it would be a good idea to let her go spend some time with her biological mother. Well, her biological mother, I'm not going to go through the entire story, but long story short, she ends up missing. Rebecca Rudd reports her daughter missing. They search for this girl for 15 days, and they finally get cadaver dogs out to Rebecca Rudd's 78-acre property in Missouri, and they find that there are remains of this teenage girl's body in a burn pit. So the case proceeds in front of a judge. She opted not to have a jury, and the judge, after hearing all of the evidence and contemplating the evidence for weeks, comes out with the decision of not guilty of murder. She had been charged with first-degree murder of her teenage daughter, because she knew all along that this girl was in the burn pit. But she had also been charged with abandoning a corpse, because she admitted during the trial that it came out during the trial that she had found her daughter dead. She says their daughter committed suicide and that she burned the body. Who does that, right? So she was charged with abandoning a corpse. And the judge was very clear. There was a sentencing hearing yesterday, and the judge was very clear. Listen, I didn't find her not guilty. I found that there was not sufficient evidence to support a conviction of guilt, because it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. And he just wasn't convinced. So the victims, which, and I'm thinking, who are the victims here? So it's the victims that spoke at the sentencing hearing were the sister and the mother and the father, the adoptive mother and the adoptive father. And they were very angry with this judge for reaching this not guilty decision, calling it the worst day of their lives when he came back with this not guilty verdict. And so urging the judge for the maximum sentence, of course. Well, unfortunately, the maximum sentence for abandoning a corpse is 4 years and $5,000 fine. So ultimately, we hear the victims read their statements, and quite scathing for the judge. At one point, the judge stops them and said, listen, this is supposed to be how this has impacted you, not your assessment of my verdict. So, yeah, anyway, he let him continue reading the statements. This was Judge Calvin Holder. So he did sentence her to 4 years. Now, the defense had asked that because she's been in jail for 5 years, that he waive. Am I already done with this symbol? That he waive the $5,000 fine because she's obviously indigent. Well, he said, I usually do waive fines. Most of the time I do waive fines. But in this case, I think I need to send a message. I think, you put these people in this town through torture, having them look for this body, this girl, for 15 days. I think the least you could do is pay this $5,000 fine. You think? Oh, my word. So that's how that turned out. She basically got away with murder. She'll walk. She's done serving her sentence, and she'll be out of there. She's served over 1,700 days already, so she has served her sentence. And but I think she will be very much shunned in the community where she resides. So good thing she lives on 78 acres. Now, they had also brought charges against her husband, the guy she went and married at the last minute to prevent him from testifying against her. The judge pointed out that the state has decided to drop the charges against him. So he's not incarcerated any longer either. So this case is over. Now let's move on to the Alex Jones trial. In the Alex Jones trial, they continued the direct examination of the corporate representative. So she was back in court, the same woman we talked about yesterday, who's been paid $37,000 to analyze the entire corporation of Alex Jones. And she spent a lot of the day, they talked about the different false statements that Alex had made about Sandy Hook, and then the revenue that ensued thereafter. Interesting though, Alex Jones goes on this show and does an interview and actually accuses the judge of being and I'm going to have to read it, a soulless operative. Now, George Solis is a millionaire, maybe he's a billionaire, I don't know, millionaire, who Alex Jones has said is the mastermind of a global criminal organization. The judge belongs to this organization. And why does he think that? Because the judge has blue hair. What? Oh my God, that blows my mind. Okay. But anyway, he thinks this. And he has not yet been seen in court. He's just kind of ignoring these proceedings. Well, ignoring showing up. He obviously knows they're going on because he's sitting on a talk show interviewing and talking about the judge. We know in the Texas trial, he actually went on his show and put a picture of the Texas judge with flames coming up. It was just weird. Hi, Duncan. You coming to visit? He doesn't visit me that often. Okay, let's talk about the George Wagner case. So the testimony on Wednesday was interesting in that it was the top law enforcement officials, Sheriff Tracy Evans, Pike County Sheriff Tracy Evans, who actually opted out of being filmed and recorded. This is a public official who opted out. Let me say that again. A public official who decided, no, I don't want to be filmed. They shouldn't have even had the option. You're a public elected official. How are you making the option not for anybody to hear your testimony? That's just nuts. And then also Sheriff Corporal Adam Ball also opted out. These are two top law enforcement officials that didn't want to be seen on camera. Why not? You're an elected official. Why wouldn't you want to be seen on camera? Anyway, Ball talked about how he was the first person on the scene, how there was so much blood in the Chris Roden house that he had to just kind of climb over things to get to the bodies. Crazy. So yesterday's testimony centered around the discovery of Kenneth Roden. Now, Kenneth is Chris Roden Sr.'s brother. Now, all of the Roden family that has been discovered dead thus far were on this Union Hill Road. They each had trailers on Union Hill Road. Chris and Gary were discovered in one trailer. Then his oldest son and his fiance and their two kids, they were in a second trailer. The two kids were unharmed. Then a third trailer was Dana, Chris Jr., Hannah, and a 5-week-old infant who was unharmed, but the other. So now we have 7 people that are dead. Now, yesterday's testimony centered around Kenneth, the 8th person who lived on a different road. What road was it? Let me look. I don't think I wrote it down. It was a different road. But within 15-minute drive of the rest of the Rodens. And he would get up every day at 4 a.m. and go to work in Columbus. So his friend, Brett Hartfield, he testified that they would ride together to go to work. So he pulled up that day, April 22nd. He pulls up to Kenneth's it was a camper. I don't think it was a trailer. It was a camper. So he pulls up to the camper, and usually when he pulls up, the lights will come on in the camper, and then he knows, the guy will be out shortly. Well, the lights didn't come on, so he waited for a few minutes, and then he leaves, and he goes ahead and goes on to work. And then about 8 a.m., he gets a phone call that says something's going on Union Hill Road, which is the road where the other Roden family members were discovered. So he's trying to call the rest of the Roden family, and no one's answering. So he goes onto Facebook, Hannah's Facebook, and leaves a message. Someone actually read that message. Now, we know that Angela Wagner, George's mother, hacked into the Facebook account of Hannah. So did she read this message? Then the other testimony yesterday was the son of Kenneth Roden. His name was Luke, and the cousin of Kenneth Roden, whose name was Donald Stone. They heard what had been going on Union Hill Road, and they wanted to go check on Kenneth. So they arrive at Kenneth's camper. They wanted to also inform him, what had happened to his brother and his cousin. Well, they get there and they go in, and Luke, the son, he walks into the living room, and Daniel Stone walks into the bedroom, and he comes out of the bedroom very quickly, and he says, "We got to leave. He's dead. Let's go. He's dead." So they go out and they call authorities, and then we come to find out that Kenneth was found in his bed. He had been shot once in the eye, and likely during his sleep. So that was the Wagner testimony yesterday. So now we've heard testimony of the discovery of all 8 victims. Now, what do we have left? We've done Rebecca, we've done Alex, we've done George. I think that's it, because Nicholas Cruz is out to the 27th. But oh no, wait, there is more. Yes, Lori Vallow Daybell. She was in court yesterday on a hearing on a motion to exclude the media from coverage of this trial, this upcoming trial, for the murders of her 2 children and the wife of Chad Daybell. I can't see where I'm going. Oh, here we go. Right here. I'm going to just finish up this little. I think this might be it. I think I might be done with this symbol. Yeah. Okay. Now I can just talk to you. So this was a motion to ban the cameras. Now the defense pointed out that at the last hearing, out of a 55-minute hearing, the camera was focused on his client for 30 minutes out of the 55 minutes. For no reason. She wasn't testifying. The most she was doing was whispering in her attorney's ear. Well, I saw that hearing. She was acting out. She's like laughing and, completely inappropriate behavior. Like, it was just bizarre behavior. Like, who acts like that during hearing? Like, she was just, like she knew the camera was there and it was a show and her hair was, I don't know. So of course the camera was covering it, but they said that was excessive. It was unnecessary. What was the point of that? What was the point? So he's arguing that because of the media saturation, his client, instead of being innocent until proven guilty, is now going to have to come into the courtroom and prove her innocence. And now she's not going to get a fair trial because of the media saturation. He argued that this was an abuse of the privilege of the media to be in the courtroom. Okay. And I did notice during this hearing they didn't do really any close-ups of her. They showed her, but with her attorneys, because he made his arguments sitting at the table next to her. So of course she was right next to him, so we could see her. But when the other people were making their arguments, the camera may have briefly gone to her, but not. It didn't sit and focus on her like I saw it do in the first hearing. Then the plaintiff came up, the prosecution, and they argued really for the same thing. They said, listen, we got a change of venue. You changed the venue to prevent excess publicity of this case that would taint the jury. And then you put us in the biggest media market in Idaho. And of course, it's blowing up. So, yeah, I'm in agreement. Leave the cameras out. And he said, I agree about that hearing last time. The coverage of, exclusive 30 minutes on Lori Daybell was abnormal. Then we got the media attorney. He gets up and he talks at length, about the First Amendment and, free speech and the right to, all that constitutional stuff. But here's what fascinated me. When he first got up, he read the list of people that are corporations that he was representing: ABC, CBS, NBC, Court TV. Like, there was a laundry list, 50, 60 different news outlets that had contributed to hire this individual to argue on behalf of having cameras in the courtroom. So in the end, of course, the judge said he would take everything into consideration and that the hearing was over and he'd render his decision later on. So I don't know how that's going to go. I hope they do leave cameras in the courtroom. I hope this is not an omen that cameras are going to start to go away. I think it's a bad idea in the Wagner case that we're having all these witnesses opt out, especially public officials. Now in the Vallow case, where she and Chad are charged with 3 murders. I think the public has the right to see this. I do. I think to close a courtroom this is the public against them. This is the state of Idaho against these individuals. Why wouldn't you make it public? Anyway, that's just my opinion. So we'll see how the judge rules on that. History in 2014. Aaron Alexis, wearing a polo shirt and pants with a sawed-off Remington shotgun, uses his security badge to get into a naval shipyard. Over the course of the next hour, he makes his way through a 630,000 square foot building, killing 12 people in total. He ends up exchanging gunfire with police and he is killed. 5 days prior to this, he had just gotten a job at the yard as a computer technician and then gone and purchased the Remington and then decided to go on this massacre. They could not find any event that had triggered this, but he did it. The shotgun that he used was etched with several phrases. I'll read them to you. Better off this way and my elf weapon. He was under the delusional belief he was being controlled by extremely low frequency electromagnetic waves. That's where we get the ELF, extremely low frequency. Never heard of that. He did have an encounter with the police prior to this where he told the police he had been having delusions. His company took him off the job for a few days, but how was he allowed to purchase a gun? I don't know. Yeah, all within this same time frame. Anyway, that's what happened this day in history. Yeah. So guys, tonight is the Craftathon. Like I said, it starts off at 8 p.m. Don't forget to copy the playlist that's down below. Open it up, save it, so you can jump in at any point. There are some openings. If you're a creator and you want to jump in at the last minute, please direct message me. Let me know, and I'll fit you in. So, guys, have a great weekend. So I will not be doing a live on Sunday. My live will actually be tomorrow evening at, I have to look. I think it's 5 p.m. I'm on the playlist. I believe it's 5 p.m. Central Time. Yeah. If I'm wrong, I so apologize. My head is a jumble of everything. So, guys, uh, I may do later this afternoon. I may do a part 4 of the walkthrough of Disney's Dreamlight Valley. Oh my gosh, I am loving this game. It is so much fun, and just for something, giggles. We might do that. All right, so I'll see you sometime this weekend. Love you all. Bye.